I always knew I'd be right. Not the way you want to be right, though. Not like winning an argument at Thanksgiving dinner or proving your buddy wrong about which year a movie came out. This was the kind of right that sits in your gut like spoiled meat, the kind that makes you wish you'd been the crazy one all along. The shelter hum is what I wake up to now. That low electrical drone from the air filtration system, steady as a heartbeat. Been hearing it for 365 days, give or take. I stopped marking the calendar around month 7. What's the point? Tuesday doesn't mean anything when every day is just another span of hours between sunrise and the sound starting up outside. My name's Roger. 52 years old, former IT contractor, a current occupant of a reinforced concrete box buried 8 feet under what used to be my backyard in rural Pennsylvania. The house above me is still standing, far as I know. Haven't been up there in about 4 months. No reason to. Everything I need is down here in my beautiful, paranoid, perfectly planned tomb. Except it's not a tomb. That's what I keep telling myself when the walls start feeling too close. The coffee tastes like aluminum this morning. Instant crystals dissolved in filtered water, no cream because the powdered stuff ran out in month 3. I'm rationing the coffee itself now, 1 cup every 3 days, making each canister last. Got maybe 40 left. After that, it's just water in the tea bags, which I hate, but you adapt or you die. That's what I learned before any of this started. People used to mock me. Nancy at the grocery store with her painted-on eyebrows. She'd see me loading up on canned goods and rice, and she'd do this little laugh. Planning for the end of the world again, Roger? Yeah, Nancy. Yeah, I was. Wonder if she made it past day 2. Probably not. Nancy didn't seem like the type who kept her pantry stocked past next Tuesday's meatloaf. The monitors flickered to life when I hit the switch. 6 screens, 6 different camera angles around the property. I installed them myself back in 2019, ran the cables through PVC piping buried 18 inches down, waterproofed every connection. My brother called it excessive. My brother Tim, who lived in Philadelphia with his yoga instructor girlfriend and their yappy little dog, who thought I was unhinged for wasting money on paranoia. Tim lasted 3 days. I know because I heard him on the radio before the broadcast stopped. He was at the emergency shelter at Temple University. Said they were running out of antibiotics. Said there were too many sick people and not enough doors that locked. Then static. Haven't heard his voice since day 8. I don't think about Tim much anymore. Thinking about the dead doesn't keep you alive. The cameras show me what I already know. Trees, overgrown grass, the collapsed section of fence on the north side where something heavy pushed through around month 2. And bodies. Parts of bodies. The ones I shot when they wandered too close, before I learned that shooting just brings more of them. The sound carries. They follow it like rats following the smell of garbage. There's one dragging itself across the driveway right now. Looks like it used to be a woman. Hard to tell with the way the jaw's hanging off. She's missing everything below the rib cage, just pulling herself forward with broken arms, leaving a dark smear on the gravel. I watch her for a minute, coffee going cold in my hand. She doesn't even know I'm here. The shelter ventilation system is baffled, filtered, nearly silent from outside. I made sure of that. No heat signature bleeding through the walls, no light escaping except through the camera housings. And those are camouflaged. She'll drag herself into the woods eventually. They always do. They follow sound, movement, anything that suggests food. But there's nothing here for her except dirt and the smell of rot from her friends I put down months ago. I turn away from the screens. Inventory check is at 800 hours every morning. Routine keeps you sane, or at least keeps you from noticing you're going insane. I've got it all on spreadsheets, printed out and laminated, because I'm not an idiot who relies on electronics. The backup power cells are good for another 8 months if I'm conservative. The solar panels up top are still functional, feeding the batteries during daylight. I checked the readouts. 87% charge. Good enough. Food inventory. 143 cans of various vegetables. 92 cans of beans. 64 cans of soup. 41 cans of fruit. 18 jars of peanut butter. 50-pound bag of rice, 3/4 full. Dried pasta, maybe 30 pounds. Protein powder, 12 containers. Multivitamins, enough for another year if I take one every other day instead of daily. Water's not a problem. The well system I installed pulls from 200 feet down, runs through 3 separate filtration stages before it hits my tap. I tested it last week. Clean, cold, tastes like survival. The numbers are lower than I'd like. I planned for 2 years of solo sustainability, but I didn't plan for absolutely zero resupply. Didn't plan for every store, every distribution center, every farm within 100 miles to be either burned down, overrun, or picked clean by other survivors who've probably been dead for months now. I need to make another run soon. The thought sits in my stomach like a stone. The last run was 6 weeks ago. I hit a dollar store off Route 76, about 30 miles south. The place had been looted, but not thoroughly. People in a panic grabbed the obvious stuff: bottled water, bread, milk. Worse, they don't think about grabbing the canned cranberry sauce that's been sitting on the bottom shelf since 2018. They don't think about the industrial-sized containers of cooking oil in the back storage room. They don't think like someone who's been preparing for societal collapse since the first time he read about supply chain vulnerabilities in 2001. I got out of there with 2 duffel bags full of supplies and only had to put down 3 of them. 3 shots. 3 more sounds echoing across an empty parking lot, probably pulling every dead thing within 2 miles in that direction. I drove away doing 90, hands shaking so bad I could barely hold the wheel straight. You'd think shooting them would get easier. It doesn't. Even now, knowing what they are, knowing they're not people anymore, there's this split second before you pull the trigger where your brain shows you who they used to be. The soccer mom, the construction worker, the kid who couldn't have been more than 16. Then you shoot them in the head and they drop, and you don't think about it because thinking about it means you don't move fast enough next time. The car's in the garage. 2015 Ford Explorer, 4-wheel drive, reinforced bumper. I installed myself using steel I-beams and 1/2-inch plate. The windows are covered with steel mesh, welded into frames that bolt onto the doors. You can see out through the mesh, but nothing's getting in. I've got push bars on the front and back. The thing's a tank. Burns gas like crazy, but that doesn't matter when every gas station between here and Pittsburgh is free for the taking, assuming you're willing to risk your life pumping it. I've got 40 gallons stored in jerry cans in the garage. Treated with stabilizer, good for another 6 months maybe. After that, I'll need to siphon more. There's a Shell station 8 miles east that I've been eyeing. Haven't hit it yet because it's visible from the highway, and the highway is a death trap. I watched a convoy try to go south on Route 80 back in month 2. Must have been 30 vehicles. I was up on the roof with my binoculars like an idiot, watching. They got maybe 3 miles before the gridlock stopped them. Then the swarm came. I couldn't see details from that distance. Didn't need to. The screaming carried just fine. I checked the Explorer's fluids, even though I just checked them 4 days ago. Oil's good. Coolant's good. Brake fluid, transmission fluid, all fine. The battery's on a trickle charger. I start the engine and let it run for exactly 10 minutes. like I do every week, keeping everything lubricated and functional. The sound is loud in the concrete garage, echoing off the walls. I built this space with a shelter, a separate entrance tunnel from the living area, designed so I could come and go without exposing the main shelter entrance. The garage door is reinforced steel, the kind they use for loading docks. Took me 3 months to install it properly. The engine ticks as it cools. I sit in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, and I imagine going somewhere. Not the dollar store or the gas station. Somewhere far. West, maybe. Colorado. I've heard rumors on the shortwave that there are government holdouts in the mountains. Safe zones. Military protection. Could just be bullshit. It probably is bullshit. But sometimes I think about loading up the Explorer with everything I can carry and just driving until I hit something that isn't death and ruin. Then I remember Tim on the radio, talking about the emergency shelter, and I stay put. The shortwave is how I know anything at all about what's happening beyond my 8-foot concrete walls. I've got a decent rig, nothing fancy, ham radio setup I've been licensed for since 2003. Most channels are dead now. Static. But there are still voices out there. Crackling through the interference, people broadcasting from God knows where. There's a woman who comes on every night at 2100 hours on 7.295 megahertz. She doesn't give her name, just reads off survival tips in this flat, emotionless voice. How to purify water without filters. How to treat infected wounds with limited antibiotics. How to identify which bodies are safe to get close to and which ones are faking. Yeah, apparently they do that. Play dead until you're close enough, then lunge. She warned about that back in month 4. I haven't verified it personally, and I don't plan to. There's a guy who broadcasts on 14.313 megahertz, calls himself Ranger 6. Military, or was military, hard to say. He does situation reports like he's still getting orders from someone. Northeast sector remains compromised. No joy on resupply efforts, civilian presence minimal. That kind of thing. Sometimes he cries. You can hear it in his voice, even though he tries to hide it. I don't judge. I've cried too down here in the dark, when the weight of being the last person in the world gets too heavy. Except I'm not the last person. There are others. The voices prove it. We're just scattered, isolated, buried in our own little boxes of survival, too afraid or too smart to group up. I've heard broadcasts from people trying to form communities, rally points, new starts. Those broadcasts always stop after a week or two. Either they get overrun or they fall apart from the inside. People are the problem, see? Always have been. You can prepare for natural disasters, economic collapse, even a pandemic. But you can't prepare for the fact that when things get bad enough, humans will kill each other over a can of soup. I learned that on day 36. There was a guy, showed up at my property around noon. I saw him on the cameras, stumbling up the driveway, waving his arms. He was screaming for help, looked rough but not bitten. I almost opened the door. Almost. And then I saw the others, hanging back in the trees, 3 of them, watching. The guy was bait. They were waiting to see if anyone was home, see if anyone was stupid enough to open up. I didn't open up. I watched on the monitors as they searched the property, tried the garage door, tried the cellar entrance to the old house basement. They didn't find the shelter hatch. I buried it under a section of decorative rock garden, disguised the seams. They gave up after an hour and left, taking the bait guy with them. He stopped screaming for help and started laughing. That's when I knew for sure. I don't feel bad about not helping. You can't help people in the apocalypse. You can only survive them. The days blend. That's the thing they don't tell you about isolation. Time stops having meaning. I wake up, I check the cameras, I do inventory. I eat, I exercise, I listen to the radio, I sleep. Repeat. The only variation is when something breaks and I have to fix it, or when I need to plan a supply run, or when something comes sniffing around the property and I have to decide whether to stay quiet or put it down. Last week, the air filtration system started making a grinding noise. Took me 6 hours to disassemble the intake housing and find the problem. A dead mouse had gotten wedged in the fan assembly. How it got in there, I don't know. The whole system is supposed to be sealed. But nature finds a way, even in the apocalypse. I cleaned it out, replaced the damaged fan blade with a spare from my parts inventory, and got everything running smooth again. 6 hours of work, and all I felt afterward was tired. Not accomplished, not relieved, just tired. That's the other thing. Emotions flatten out. I used to feel things intensely. Anger at the government, fear during thunderstorms, joy when the Steelers won. Now it's all muted, like someone turned down the volume on my entire brain. I read somewhere that's a symptom of depression. Maybe I'm depressed. Hard to say. How do you differentiate between depression and a rational response to living alone in a concrete box during the zombie apocalypse? I tried keeping a journal for a while, wrote down my thoughts, tried to process things. I stopped around month 5 because I kept writing the same things over and over. Quiet day. Nothing on the cameras. Ate soup. What's the point? Future archaeologists don't need to know I had chicken noodle versus tomato. The exercise equipment helps. I've got a stationary bike, a weight bench, some dumbbells. I force myself to work out 90 minutes a day, even when I don't want to, which is always. Keeping the body functional is critical. I've lost weight anyway, down from 210 to maybe 170. Hard to say exactly. The scale broke in month 8, and I haven't bothered replacing it. My clothes hang loose. I had to punch new holes in my belt. There's a mirror in the bathroom. I avoid looking at it. The few times I have, I didn't recognize the guy staring back. Gray beard, unkempt because who gives a shit? Hollow eyes, skin pale from living underground. I look like I'm dying. Maybe I am. Maybe we all are. Just at different speeds. The radio crackles to life at 14:30 hours. I'm in the middle of cleaning my rifles, which I do every 3 days, whether they need it or not. Routine. Discipline. The voice coming through is new. I'm younger than most. Panicked. Anyone out there, please, we're at the Willow Creek Elementary School. We've been here for 2 weeks and they're getting through the fence. If anyone can hear this, we need help. We have children. Please. Static swallows the rest. I sit there, gun oil on my hands, listening. The voice doesn't come back. I wait 10 minutes. Nothing. Willow Creek Elementary is 43 miles northeast of here. I know because I looked at a map once, plotting safe zones. Back when I thought safe zones were still a thing. 43 miles is a 2-hour round trip if nothing goes wrong. Longer if the roads are blocked. Much longer if I run into a horde. I think about the children. I think about how long 2 weeks is when you're trapped in an elementary school with chain-link fence as your only protection. I think about how that voice sounded young enough to be someone's daughter. Then I go back to cleaning my rifle. You can't save everyone. You can't save anyone, really, except yourself. That's the hardest lesson. People want to be heroes. We're raised on stories about the guy who risks everything to save the group, who makes the noble sacrifice. But noble sacrifices just mean you're dead, and they're still screwed. Better to stay alive. Better to keep your head down and your supplies stocked and your shelter secure. I I tell myself that as I finish cleaning the rifle. I tell myself that as I eat dinner, canned chili heated on the propane camping stove. I tell myself that as I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the filtration system, the voice doesn't come back on the radio. I don't know if that means they got out or got eaten. I don't let myself wonder. Sleep doesn't come easy anymore. It used to. Back in the first month, I'd drop off the second my head hit the pillow, exhausted from the stress and the physical work of fortifying, organizing, surviving. Now I lie awake for hours, brain cycling through the same loops. Did I lock the garage door? Yes. Did I check the water filtration? Yes. Are the cameras recording properly? Yes. Do I have enough ammunition for the next supply run? Maybe. Should I risk going to the sporting goods store on Route 22? Probably not. Will I anyway? Probably. When I do sleep, I dream about before. Not the good parts. I dream about sitting in traffic on the way to a job I hated. I dream about arguing with Tim about whether I should invest in cryptocurrency. I dream about Nancy at the grocery store, her painted eyebrows, her little laugh. Stupid, mundane things. I wake up and for a split second, I forget where I am. And then I remember. And it's like finding out the world ended all over again. The sound starts at 03:42 hours. I'm awake instantly, hand reaching for the .45 I keep on the bedside table. It's not a loud sound, just scratching. Something scraping against metal, rhythmic, persistent. I check the monitors. Nothing on the cameras? The scratching continues. It's coming from above, from the direction of the old house foundation. I grab a flashlight and move through the shelter, trying to pinpoint it. The main living area is clear. The storage room is clear. The sound is loudest near the access tunnel to the garage. But something is in the crawl space between the shelter ceiling and the surface. Something is trying to dig down. My first thought is raiders. The guys from day 36, maybe they came back. Maybe they figured out there's something here worth finding. But raiders would use tools. This sounds like hands, like fingernails on metal ductwork. One of them got into the crawl space. I don't know how. I sealed everything. Every vent, every access point, every potential entry. But something found a way. Maybe through the old house basement, maybe through a gap I missed. Doesn't matter. What matters is there's a zombie directly above my head, scratching at the barrier between us. The scratching stops. I stand there in the dark, flashlight off, gun in hand, barely breathing. Silence, then footsteps. Slow, dragging, moving across the ceiling. It's exploring, searching. The footsteps stop directly above the main living area, above my bed. I don't sleep the rest of the night. I sit in the armchair in the corner, gun aimed at the ceiling, waiting for the sound of metal tearing or concrete cracking. It doesn't come. By 0600, the thing is still up there. I can hear it occasionally, shifting weight, dragging itself from one spot to another. It knows something is down here. Maybe it smells me. Maybe it hears the air filtration. Maybe it's just random and I'm projecting intelligence onto something that's basically a mobile corpse. When dawn comes, I check the cameras again. Still nothing visible. The thing must have entered through a gap in the old house foundation, wormed its way into the space between the shelter and the surface. I think about going up there to deal with it. But that means unsealing the garage access tunnel, opening myself up to potential exposure. If there's one, there might be more. If I open that door and there's a dozen of them waiting, I'm finished. So I wait. I listen to it drag itself around up there all day. I try to eat breakfast, but everything tastes like cardboard. I try to focus on other tasks, but my brain keeps coming back to the scratching, the footsteps, the thing that's too close. By nightfall, it's gone quiet. I check the monitors obsessively. Nothing. Maybe it left. Maybe it's just resting. Maybe it died up there and now I have a corpse rotting in my crawl space, which will eventually seep down and contaminate my air supply. I need to deal with it. I know I need to deal with it. But the thought of opening any door, any access point, fills me with a paralysis I can't quite shake. This is what fear does. It erodes you. Day by day, decision by decision, until you're too afraid to do the things necessary to keep yourself safe. I've seen it happen to others. The broadcasts that started strong and confident, then got quieter, more hesitant, then stopped altogether. Fear is more dangerous than the zombies. Fear makes you freeze when you should move, makes you hide when you should fight. I make myself a deal. If it's still there tomorrow, I handle it. No excuses. I'll suit up, I'll open the access panel to the crawl space, I'll put the thing down. Simple, direct. I've killed dozens of them already. One more won't matter. The deal makes me feel better for about an hour. Then the scratching starts again, and I'm back to sitting in the chair, gun in hand, staring at the ceiling. The thing leaves on its own around 300. I hear it dragging itself back the way it came, the sounds fading into the distance. I check the cameras with the night vision setting. There, emerging from under the collapsed section of the old house's front porch, a shape. Humanoid. Missing an arm. It drags itself across the lawn and disappears into the trees. I don't relax. I sit there until sunrise, then I force myself to eat, to shower, to go through the routine. The routine is all that matters. The routine keeps you human. But my hands shake when I try to update the inventory spreadsheet. The numbers blur. I give up and lie down on the bed, staring at the ceiling where the thing was 12 hours ago. And I wonder how much longer I can do this. The answer is, as long as necessary. Because the alternative is giving up, and giving up means dying. And I'm not ready to die. Not yet. Not after everything I did to prepare, to survive, to prove that I was right all along. Even if being right feels an awful lot like being punished. The supply situation forces my hand 2 days later. I'm down to rationing levels that aren't sustainable. 1 can of food per day, supplemented with rice and beans. The protein powder's getting low. I need calories. I need variety. I need to make a run. I spend 6 hours planning. Maps spread out on the table, routes marked in red, alternates in blue. There's a Walmart supercenter 18 miles west that I haven't hit yet. It's risky. Big stores like that get picked clean fast. But they also have storage areas that most people don't think to check. Loading docks, managers' offices, and employee break rooms. I've found good supplies in weird places before. A whole case of canned ham in the customer service desk at a Kmart. Box of granola bars in the ceiling tiles of a pharmacy bathroom. The route takes me down back roads, avoiding highways. Highways are graveyards. I learned that watching the convoy. I plot a path through state routes and county roads, places where I can turn around if I hit an obstruction, places where the trees are thick enough to provide cover if I need to bail from the vehicle. I load the Explorer methodically. Bug-out bag in the passenger seat. 3 days of food, water purification tablets, first aid kit, spare ammunition, road flares, hand crank radio. The rifles go in the back seat, 1 AR-15 and 1 hunting rifle, both loaded with 1 in the chamber. The .45 stays on my hip, and I wear my plate carrier vest, ceramic plates front and back, heavy but worth it. Gloves, boots, a respirator mask that filters particulates. because I don't know if the infection is airborne and I'm not taking chances. I open the garage door at 0900 hours when the light is good and I can see clearly. The driveway is empty. The trees are still. I listen for 30 seconds before I pull out. Engine rumbling, gravel crunching under the tires. The first mile is always the worst. That's when your brain screams at you to turn around, to go back to the shelter, to stay safe. I white-knuckle the steering wheel and keep driving. The road is cracked, weeds growing through the asphalt. I pass a burned-out minivan on the shoulder. The windows are blown out. There are dark stains on the seats. I don't slow down. 3 miles out, I see the first one. Standing in the middle of the road, swaying slightly, head tracking toward the sound of the engine. Used to be a man in a business suit, tie still knotted, briefcase on the ground beside him. I don't stop. I hit him going 45. The bumper catches him square, and he crumples, rolling under the vehicle with a series of thumps. I check the rear view. He's trying to get up, left leg bent at a wrong angle, still reaching toward the sound of the engine. I keep driving. The county roads are quiet. I see evidence of people everywhere. Abandoned cars, trash blown into the ditches. A child's bike lying in someone's front yard, pink streamers on the handlebars. I don't look too closely at the houses. Some of them still have doors hanging open. Some of them have smears on the windows. Route 19 is blocked by a jackknifed semi. I take the alternate route, looping south through farmland. The fields are overgrown, corn that nobody harvested gone wild and brown. There's a farmhouse in the distance, white paint peeling, barn collapsed. I see movement near the barn, multiple shapes. I give it a wide berth. The Walmart appears after 40 minutes of driving. It's set back from the road, huge parking lot stretching out like a concrete desert. There are cars scattered everywhere, doors open, contents spilled. Shopping carts overturned. A fire must have gone through at some point because part of the building's facade is scorched black. I park near the garden center entrance, reverse position so the nose is pointed toward the exit. Engine off. I sit there for 5 minutes. Watching, listening. The wind pushes a plastic bag across the parking lot. Nothing else moves. I grab the AR-15 and step out. The air smells wrong. Rot and smoke and something chemical. The garden center doors are smashed, glass crunching under my boots. I move inside, weapon up, scanning corners. The place has been gutted, shelves knocked over, products scattered everywhere. I see blood on the floor, drag marks leading toward the main store entrance. I follow them because I'm an idiot who can't help himself. The main store is cavernous. Emergency lighting still works somehow, battery backup maybe, casting everything in dim yellow. The drag marks lead to the electronics section. There's a body there? No. Multiple bodies. Piled up like someone tried to make a barricade. They're all wrong, torn apart. Some are moving, but barely, just twitching. I back away slowly. This was a mistake. The place is compromised. I should leave. Then I hear it. A sound from the back of the store. Not groaning, something else. Rhythmic, mechanical. I move toward it, staying low, using the shelving for cover. The sporting goods section is mostly intact. Someone reinforced it with wire fencing, made a little safe zone. The fence is breached now, torn open, but there's still supplies inside. Camping gear, backpacks. I see boxes of ammunition on the shelves. The sound is coming from beyond sporting goods, from the warehouse area. I push through the plastic strip curtains and freeze. There's a generator running. Someone set up a generator in the back warehouse, connected to work lights that illuminate a space cleared of debris. And in that space, someone built something. It looks like a fort. A pallet stacked and reinforced with plastic wrap, tarps overhead. There's a sleeping bag visible through a gap. Canned goods stacked neatly. Someone is living here. I call out. Hello? My voice echoes. The generator chugs. Nothing else. I approach the fort carefully. The entrance is a gap between pallets, covered with a hanging tarp. I push it aside with the rifle barrel. The smell hits me immediately. Decay. Sickness. I cover my nose with my sleeve and look inside. There's a person on the sleeping bag. Woman, maybe 30, hard to tell. She's dead. Has been for a while. The skin is gray, eyes clouded. But she's not animated. Not moving. Just dead. There's an empty pill bottle next to her hand. The label says oxycodone. She killed herself rather than starve or get eaten. Can't say I blame her. I back out and look around the warehouse. This was a good setup. She had water barrels. She had food. She had light and heat. But she gave up anyway. Maybe she got sick. Maybe she just got too lonely. The why doesn't matter. The result is the same. I take what I can carry. The ammunition first, 5 boxes of .223 and 3 boxes of .45. Then food from her stash, cans of soup and vegetables that she won't need. A new water filter still in its package. Batteries, a hand crank flashlight. I feel like a vulture picking over a corpse, but practicality overrides guilt. She's dead. I'm alive. I need these things more than she does. I'm loading the last of it into my bag when I hear the sound. Not from the warehouse, from the main store. Multiple sets of footsteps, shuffling, dragging. They followed me in. I move fast. He's slinging the bag over my shoulder, weapon up. The strip curtains are moving. Something's pushing through. I see a hand first, fingers bent wrong, then an arm, then a head. Male, older, wearing the remains of a Walmart vest. Name tag says Leonard. Leonard's jaw is missing. His throat is gone. He shouldn't be able to make noise, but there's this wet rasping coming from the hole where his neck used to be. I put 2 rounds in his head, and he drops. The gunshots echo like thunder. I curse myself for not using the suppressor. Too late now. I can hear more of them coming, drawn by the sound. I run for the garden center exit. The warehouse is a maze of shelving and pallets. I vault over a fallen display, boots skidding on the polished concrete. Behind me, the sounds multiply. They're in the warehouse now. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. The whole horde from the main store, funneling toward the gunshots. The garden center is 20 yards away. I can see daylight through the broken doors. I'm almost there when one lunges from between the shelving units. It used to be a teenager, skinny kid in a black hoodie. His eyes are filmed over, his hands grab for me, and I don't have time to shoot, so I slam the rifle stock into his face. He staggers back, and I keep running. Out through the doors, across the parking lot, glass crunching. The Explorer is right where I left it. I throw the bag in the back seat and dive into the driver's seat. Keys in the ignition, engine roars to life. I slam it into drive just as the first wave of them spills out of the garden center. There must be 50 of them. More. They pour out of the building like ants from a kicked hill, stumbling, running, crawling. I punch the gas and the Explorer lurches forward. The tires scream. I aim for the parking lot exit, weaving between abandoned cars, and something jumps onto the hood. It's a woman in a torn dress, her face split open from forehead to chin. She's scrabbling at the windshield, smearing it with black fluid. I can't see. I hit the brakes and she slides off. I run over her with a bump and keep going. The access road, the highway. I'm doing 70 in a 45 zone. The engine whines. I check the mirror. They're not following anymore. They can't keep up. I'm safe. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold the wheel. I pull over after a mile onto a side road and just sit there. My heart is hammering. I can feel it in my throat. The adrenaline makes everything sharp and bright and wrong. I almost died. For what? Ammunition and soup? Was it worth it? I look at the supplies in the back seat. 5 boxes of ammunition, 12 cans of food, water filter, batteries, maybe 3 weeks' worth of calories if I'm careful. Yeah, it was worth it. I drive home a different route, looping north, adding an extra hour to the trip. I don't care. I need time for my hands to stop shaking. I need time to process the fact that I just looted a dead woman's survival cache and then ran from a horde of zombies like it was a normal Tuesday. Because it is a normal Tuesday now. This is normal. This is life. The shelter entrance has never looked so good. I pull into the garage, close the door, and sit there in the dark for 10 minutes before I can make myself move. Then I unload. I sort the supplies. I update my inventory spreadsheet. I clean the rifle and reload the magazines I expended. Routine, discipline, these things matter. That night, I dream about the woman in the sleeping bag, her clouded eyes, the pill bottle. In the dream, she sits up and asks me why I took her food. I tell her I'm sorry. She doesn't accept the apology. She never does, no matter how many times I have the dream. I wake up at 4:30 covered in sweat. The shelter hum is there, steady, unchanged. I get up and make coffee even though it's not my coffee day. Rules are for people who aren't falling apart. The radio has new voices. A guy on 3.890 megahertz calls himself Prophet. He's preaching. Says the zombies are God's judgment. Says the righteous will inherit the earth once the sinners are consumed. His voice has that manic edge that makes me think he's not eating enough. Starvation does things to your brain, makes you hear things, see things. I don't judge. I've caught myself talking to the walls more than once. There's a group on 21.380 megahertz trying to organize a convoy to head west. They're broadcasting meeting coordinates, rally points, safety protocols. It sounds organized, professional. I listen to them plan their route and I think about joining them. Strength in numbers, right? Then I remember every other group I've heard about on the radio. None of them lasted. The convoys get overrun. The safe houses get breached. The communities tear themselves apart from the inside when resources get scarce. I'll take my chances alone. The supplies from the Walmart run last exactly 19 days. I stretch them, but math is math. You can't make 12 cans of soup feed you for a month. By day 19, I'm back to rationing, and the inventory spreadsheet is screaming at me that I need to make another run. I really don't want to make another run, but hunger makes decisions for you. By day 22, my stomach is cramping, and I'm getting lightheaded. The rice and beans aren't cutting it. I need protein. I need fats. I need things that come in cans and jars and boxes. This time, I target a pharmacy. There's a CVS 12 miles southeast that I've been avoiding because pharmacies are high-value targets, which means they're either cleaned out or heavily contested. But I need to try. Medical supplies are running low, too. I'm down to my last bottle of ibuprofen. The antibiotics I stockpiled expired 6 months ago, which means they might still work or they might kill me. I'd rather not find out. The route is different. I go out at dawn when the light is thin and gray. The roads are slick with morning dew. I see a deer at one point, standing in the middle of Route 22, staring at the Explorer. It's healthy. Fat. The fact that wildlife is thriving tells me something about how few humans are left. Nature's reclaiming everything we built. Give it another year and the roads will be impassable, swallowed by vegetation and erosion. The CVS is in a strip mall, flanked by a defunct pizza place and a dollar store I already cleaned out months ago. The parking lot is empty. The front windows are intact. That's either a very good sign or a very bad one. I park in back by the loading dock. The delivery door is locked. I try to pry it open with a crowbar and the handle snaps off. Metal fatigue. I curse and move to the front entrance. The doors are automatic, obviously non-functional now. I wedge them open with the crowbar and slip inside. The pharmacy is dark. No emergency lighting. I use a flashlight, sweeping the beam across overturned shelves and scattered merchandise. The pharmacy counter in back is intact. Someone built a barricade around it, shopping carts and display racks wired together. Smart. The pharmacy is where the good stuff is. I approach carefully. The barricade has a gap, a narrow entrance. I shine the light through. The pharmacy area is trashed. Pill bottles everywhere. The drawers behind the counter are pulled out, contents dumped. Someone went through here looking for specific drugs. Probably painkillers. Maybe antibiotics. I climb over the barricade and start searching. Most of the good stuff is gone. No opioids, no benzos. But I find 3 bottles of amoxicillin that got missed, shoved in the back of a drawer. I find a bottle of hydrocodone with 6 pills left. I find bandages, gauze, medical tape. I find a bottle of prescription-strength ibuprofen, 800 milligrams per pill. These go into the bag. The vitamin aisle is mostly intact. I grab multivitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D. The protein shake section has a few bottles left. I take them all. In the back storage room, I find boxes of granola bars, a case of energy drinks, and a carton of cigarettes. I don't smoke, but cigarettes are currency in the apocalypse. You never know when you'll meet someone who'll trade food for nicotine. I'm loading the last of it when I hear the sound, not from outside, from inside the store. A voice, human, talking. I freeze. The voice continues, low and rhythmic. It's coming from the break room at the back of the store. I move toward it, rifle up, finger on the trigger. The break room door is closed. I press my ear to it. The voice is clearer now. Male. He's talking to someone. Or something. The words don't make sense. And the pattern repeats. You see, it's all cycles, death and rebirth, consumption and renewal. I push the door open slowly. There's a man sitting at the break room table. He's maybe 40, thin to the point of skeletal, wearing a filthy suit. In front of him are dozens of cans, arranged in complex patterns, spirals and grids. He's moving them around, adjusting their positions, talking the whole time. The mathematics are clear. If you just look at the arrangement, the sequence, the inevitable conclusion. He hasn't noticed me. I clear my throat. He looks up. His eyes are wrong. Not filmed over like the infected, just wrong. Distant, unfocused. Hello, I say. He smiles. Finally. I've been waiting. The cans predicted you'd come. Oh no. The cans, I repeat. Yes. He gestures at the table. They speak, you know. If you arrange them correctly, it's all about the pattern. Are you here to learn the pattern? I've seen this before. On the radio, in broadcasts that start coherent and devolve into gibberish. This is what happens when the isolation breaks your brain. He's not dangerous, probably. Just gone. Lost somewhere in his own head, where reality doesn't reach anymore. I'm just passing through, I say carefully, getting supplies. Supplies, he repeats, like the word is foreign. Yes, the cans provide, but you have to listen. You have to arrange them properly. He stands up suddenly. I can teach you. It's important. The pattern is everything. I back toward the door. That's okay. I'm good. You don't understand. He's getting agitated. The pattern protects us. From them. From the consumption. I've been safe here for months because I maintain the pattern. You can't just take supplies. You'll disrupt everything. I'm leaving, I say. Right now. He lunges. Not to attack, but to block the door. No, you need to understand. The can's the arrangement. It's keeping them away. If you take supplies without understanding, you'll break the pattern and they'll come. I could shoot him. It would be easy. He's unarmed, crazy, probably starving. But looking at him, I see myself in 6 months, if I'm not careful. And I see what happens when the walls close in and there's nothing left but your own thoughts eating you alive. Tell you what, I say. You keep the pattern going. I'll take what I need from the front of the store. That way the pattern stays intact. He considers this, nods slowly. Yes, that could work. But be careful. Don't disrupt the sacred geometry. I won't, I lie. I back out of the break room. He returns to his cans, adjusting them, muttering. I don't take anything else from the store. I just leave. Get in the Explorer. Drive away. That night I can't stop thinking about him. About his eyes. About the cans arranged in patterns that meant nothing. About how thin the line is between surviving and just existing in a broken loop until you die. I check my own behavior. Do I have any loops? Any patterns that don't make sense? I do inventory every morning at 800 hours. Is that rational or compulsive? I clean the rifles every 3 days. Is that maintenance or ritual? I listen to the radio at the same times every day. Is that staying informed or just desperate for human contact? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So I make a decision. Tomorrow, I'm breaking my routine. I'm going to skip inventory. I'm going to eat breakfast at a different time. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm still in control. Tomorrow comes and I do inventory at 800 hours because the thought of not doing it makes my chest tight. So much for control. Week 53. Or maybe 54. I lost count somewhere. The calendar on the wall still says March, but I think it's actually June or July. The seasons are hard to track underground, and I only know it's warm because the air filtration system is working harder, pulling in hot air from above and cooling it down. The food situation is critical. I'm down to 58 cans total. That's maybe 6 weeks if I'm careful. After that, I'm on rice and beans exclusively, and those won't last forever either. I need to make another run. A big one. Multiple locations. I need to risk it. I spend 3 days planning. I map out a route that hits 5 locations. A grocery store, a gas station mini-mart, a hunting supply shop, a warehouse store, and a farmhouse that might have a cellar. It's ambitious, dangerous, but necessary. I prep the Explorer. Full tank, spare gas cans full, every weapon loaded. I pack the bug-out bag with enough supplies for 3 days in case something goes wrong and I can't get back. I suit up in full gear, plate carrier, gloves, respirator. I look like I'm going to war. I guess I am. I leave at dawn. The first stop is the grocery store, 8 miles north. It's a small place, local chain, the kind of store that probably did most of its business selling overpriced organic produce to suburban moms. The parking lot has that same abandoned look. Cars with flat tires, trash everywhere, a shopping cart wedged against a light pole. The front doors are broken. I go in fast, sweeping corners. The smell is overwhelming. Rot. Something died in here and decayed. I breathe through my mouth and move to the canned goods aisle. It's been picked over, but there's still stuff on the bottom shelves. Creamed corn, canned beets. Things nobody wanted. I take it all. Beggars can't be choosers. I find a case of canned tuna in the back storage room. The expiration date was 2 years ago, but canned food lasts forever if the seal is intact. I check each can. No bulging, no rust. Good enough. I'm loading it into the Explorer when I see them. Not zombies. People. 3 of them. Coming across the parking lot. They're armed. Rifles. They see me and they stop. We stare at each other for a long moment. Nobody moves. Then one of them, a woman with her hair in a tight braid, raises a hand. Not threatening, just acknowledging. I nod back. They continue across the parking lot and disappear into the store. I wait until they're inside. Then I finish loading and get out of there. No conflict, no drama. Just 2 parties getting what they need and staying out of each other's way. It's the most civilized human interaction I've had in a year. The gas station is a bust, burned out. The pumps are melted plastic and the building is a shell. I don't even get out of the Explorer. I just mark it off my list and move to the next location. The hunting supply shop is intact, locked up tight. I have to break a window to get in, which makes enough noise to attract attention if anything's nearby. I work fast. The ammunition shelves are empty. The guns are gone, but I find other things. Deer attractant, trail cameras, hunting knives, a compound bow with a dozen arrows. I'm not a bow hunter, but I'd take it anyway. Silent hunting might be necessary soon. In the back office, I find something unexpected. A logbook. Someone was using this place as a shelter. The entries are dated. They start on day 12 of the outbreak and end on day 87. The handwriting gets shakier as the entries progress. The last one just says, "I can't do this anymore." There's a body in the office closet. Gunshot wound to the head, self-inflicted based on the position. I don't search the body. I just close the closet and leave. The warehouse store is a Costco. It's massive. I approach it with extreme caution because places like this are either gold mines or death traps. The parking lot is full of cars. Too full. Like people came here seeking shelter when things went bad. I park a distance away and glass the building with binoculars. The front entrance is barricaded. Someone fortified this place. Could still be occupied. Could be overrun. No way to know without getting closer. I'm debating whether to risk it when I see movement. Not at the entrance. On the roof. A figure. Human. They're pacing back and forth, looking out over the parking lot. Lookout position. I make a decision. I flash my headlights. 3 short bursts. The figure on the roof stops, looks in my direction. I see them lift binoculars. Then they point a rifle at me. I throw the Explorer in reverse and get out of there. A shot cracks out, impacts the pavement where I was parked. I don't know if they were aiming to kill or warn, and I don't stick around to find out. Occupied locations are a hard no. I learned that months ago. People in groups get territorial. They shoot first. I don't blame them. I'd do the same if someone approached my shelter. I cross the Costco off my list and head to the last location, the farmhouse. It's 12 miles down a county road that's more pothole than asphalt. The farmhouse sits at the end of a long gravel driveway, surrounded by fields. There's a barn, a silo. The house itself looks old, maybe 100 years. White paint peeling, porch sagging. I approach slowly. No signs of life. No signs of death either. The front door is closed, windows intact. I park near the barn and sit there for 5 minutes, watching, listening. Nothing. I get out. The gravel crunches under my boots. I'm hyper-aware of every sound I make. The barn door is open. I look inside. Hay bales, old farm equipment, a rusted tractor. Nothing useful. The house is locked. I kick in the door, which feels wrong but necessary. Inside it smells like dust and age. The furniture is covered with sheets. Family photos on the walls. These people left before things got bad. Probably went to stay with relatives in the city. Probably dead now. The kitchen is a disappointment. The pantry is empty. Whoever lived here didn't keep much food on hand. But there's a door in the kitchen floor. Cellar access. I open it. Wooden stairs descending into darkness. I shine my flashlight down. I see shelves, jars, cans, jackpot. The cellar is a prepper's dream. Not on my level, but whoever lived here knew how to preserve food. There are dozens of mason jars filled with preserved vegetables, pickles, tomatoes, green beans. There are canned goods. There's a shelf of home-preserved jams. There's even a case of bottled water, dusty but intact. I start hauling it up, trip after trip, loading it all into the Explorer. I'm grinning like an idiot. This is months of food. Half a year if I'm careful. I'm so focused on loading that I almost miss the sound. Footsteps on the porch. I freeze. The rifle is in the Explorer. I've got the .45 on my hip, and I draw it and move to the window. There's someone on the porch. No, multiple someones. 3 of them. Not zombies. Survivors. They're looking at the Explorer. One of them tries the driver's door. Locked. He peers through the mesh-covered window. I can see him examining the supplies in the back. "Hey!" I call out from inside the house. They spin around. One of them raises a shotgun. I duck back from the window. "That's my vehicle," I say, loud enough to carry. "I'm armed. I don't want trouble." Silence. Then a voice. Male. Rough. "Yeah? Well, we don't want trouble either. But that's a lot of supplies you got there. I found them. They're mine. You alone?" I don't answer that. "Look," the voice continues. "We're not here to rob you. We just want to trade. You got food. We got other things. Medicine. Ammunition. We can work something out." It could be legitimate. Or it could be the same setup from day 36. Bait and ambush. I try to see through the window without exposing myself. The 3 on the porch. Are there others hiding? In the barn? In the fields? "Where's your vehicle?" I ask. "Down the road. We're on foot. Our truck broke down 2 days ago. We've been walking since." That could be true. Could be a lie. I weigh my options. I've got food now. Lots of it. I don't need to trade. But they're between me and the Explorer. If I try to make a run for it, they might shoot. If I stay in here, they might wait me out or breach the house. "What kind of medicine?" I ask. "Antibiotics. Real ones. Ciprofloxacin. Plus some oxycodone if you need painkillers." I need antibiotics. Mine are expired. But this could still be a trap. Then put your weapons on the porch. Step away from them. Then we talk. "You're kidding." Those are the terms. I hear them conferring. Low voices. Then, one by one, weapons clatter onto the porch. The shotgun. 2 pistols. A hunting rifle. They step back, hands visible. I move to the door, keeping the .45 aimed. I look them over. 2 men, 1 woman. The woman looks to be in her 50s, hard-faced, graying hair. One of the men is young, maybe 25. The other is older, heavy-set, breathing hard from the walk. "Show me the antibiotics," I say. The woman reaches slowly into her jacket and pulls out a bottle, tosses it to me. I catch it, check the label. Ciprofloxacin, 500 milligrams. Prescription dated 8 months ago. The seal is intact. "How many pills?" I ask. 30. "And you want food in exchange?" "That's right. I consider it. 30 pills. That's enough for multiple courses of treatment. That's insurance against infection, which is one of the top ways to die in the apocalypse. A cut gets infected, you're dead in a week without antibiotics. I'll give you 10 cans, I say. Your choice from what I've got. 20. 15. Final offer. The woman looks at the two men. They nod. Deal. I back to the Explorer, keeping them in sight. I unlock it, pull out 15 cans. Mixed vegetables, soup, beans. I set them on the ground. The woman approaches, picks them up, loads them into a backpack. The younger man gathers their weapons. Nobody makes any sudden moves. You got a place? The woman asks. A shelter? Yeah. Where? Not telling you that. She nods. Smart. No, we're heading north. There's supposed to be a FEMA camp in New York State. You hear anything about that? No. Well, if you do, or if you change your mind about going solo, we'll be heading up Route 81. Group of about 15 of us. More safety in numbers. I'll keep that in mind. They leave. I watch them walk down the driveway, disappear down the road. I wait another 10 minutes. Then I finish loading the Explorer and get the hell out of there. The drive back is uneventful. I take the long route, adding 2 hours, making sure nobody's following. By the time I pull into the garage, it's late afternoon, and I'm exhausted. But the Explorer is loaded with supplies. Months of food, medicine, the compound bow. It's a good haul. I unload everything. I sort it. I update the inventory. The numbers look better. Not great, but better. I'll need to make another run in a few months. But for now, I'm stable. That night, I think about the woman's offer. 15 people heading north to a FEMA camp that probably doesn't exist. Part of me wants to believe it. Wants to believe there's still some kind of organized government response, safe zones, a return to normalcy. But I've been listening to the radio too long. I've heard too many stories about the camps being overrun, about the government collapsing, about the military fracturing into warlord factions. No. Better to stay here. Stay alive. Stay alone. But that night, I dream about Tim again. We're at the FEMA camp, and it's clean and safe. And there are doctors and hot food and showers. Tim is laughing about something, that stupid laugh he had, and I'm laughing too. Then I wake up, and it's just the shelter hum and the darkness and the weight of everything pressing down. I get up, make coffee even though it's 0300, sit in the chair and stare at the monitors. The cameras show me nothing. Trees, grass, darkness. The same view I've been staring at for a year. 365 days. I survived. But surviving isn't the same as living, and I'm starting to understand the difference. The radio voices are changing. Fewer of them now. The woman who gave survival tips hasn't broadcast in 3 weeks. Ranger 6 is still there, but he sounds worse. His voice hollow, sentences trailing off into static. The prophet is still preaching, but it's gotten weirder. Something about blood sacrifices and purification. There's a new voice on 18.150 megahertz. Young. Male. He doesn't give his name. He just broadcasts poetry. Not good poetry. Rambling free verse about the end of the world, about bodies in the streets, about what it means to be the last person alive. I listen to him because it's something different. Because his voice sounds like mine might sound if I started talking to the radio instead of just listening. One night, he recites something that hits me. We count the days, because counting means time still matters. When we stop counting, that's when we've given up. That's when we're already dead. I look at my calendar, the one I stopped updating in month 7. I think about the guy at the CVS, arranging cans and patterns. I think about the woman in the sleeping bag at Walmart, the empty pill bottle beside her. How do you know when you've crossed the line from surviving to just waiting to die? I start counting again. I backtrack using the radio broadcasts, cross-referencing with my supply usage, and I figure out it's been roughly 412 days since the outbreak started. I mark it on the calendar. Day 412. Then I make a promise to myself. I'll keep counting, even if it doesn't matter. Even if nobody's left to care. I'll count because counting means I'm still here. Day 413. Supply run to a small town 12 miles east. I find a sporting goods store that's been overlooked. The guns are gone, but there's camping equipment, water purification tablets, freeze-dried meals designed for backpackers. I take it all. On the way back, I see a group of survivors, maybe 20 of them, moving south on foot. They're pulling wagons loaded with supplies. I stay hidden and let them pass. We don't acknowledge each other. Day 425. Then the generator in the shelter makes a grinding noise. I spend 6 hours diagnosing the problem. Worn bearings. I have spares. I replace them. The generator runs smooth again. While I'm working, I find myself talking out loud, narrating what I'm doing. Okay, so we remove the housing, check the bearing assembly. Yeah, there's the problem. When I realize I'm doing it, I stop. Then I start again because the silence is worse. Day 431. Something tries to break into the garage. I hear it clawing at the door around 0200 hours. I go into the garage with my rifle and listen. The clawing stops, footsteps on gravel, then silence. I don't open the door. In the morning, I check the cameras. There are scratch marks on the steel, deep ones. Whatever it was strong. Day 438. I find a cache of supplies in a collapsed barn. Someone hid them there, buried under hay bales. Canned goods, medical supplies, a case of bottled water. There's a note in a plastic bag. If you find this, it means I didn't make it. Use it well. Survive. No name, no date. I take everything. That night I drink a toast to the unknown prepper who thought ahead. We're the same, him and me. We just had different luck. Day 450. I hear a broadcast on the shortwave. A woman's voice, calm and professional. She's reading coordinates, latitude and longitude. Then she says, safe zone, food, water, medical care. Come north. Repeat, come north. She reads the coordinates again, then static. I plot the coordinates on my map. Northern Montana, middle of nowhere. It could be real, could be a trap, could be someone's desperate fantasy. I think about it for 3 days. Then I decide I'm not going. Too far, too risky. I'm safe here. I'm alive here. That's enough. But is it? Day 467. I'm down to 1 cup of coffee per week. The tea bags are running low. I'm eating 1 can of food per day, supplemented with rice and beans. I've lost more weight. My belt has 2 new holes punched in it. I catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror, and I look like a scarecrow. Gaunt, hollow-eyed. I need to make another run. I don't want to. I'm tired. So tired. Day 473. I force myself. I plan a route. 3 stops. A convenience store, a pharmacy, and a house on the edge of town that looks like it might have a basement stash. I leave at dawn. The convenience store is a loss, stripped bare. The pharmacy has been burned. Arson, looks like. Someone torched it deliberately. I find the 3rd location, the house. The front door is open. Inside there are bodies. A family. They're not animated, just dead, decomposed to the point where I can't tell how they died. The basement has supplies. I take them. I try not to think about the family upstairs. Day 480. The woman's voice on the radio broadcasts again. Same coordinates. Same message. Safe zone. Come north. I wonder how many people have gone. I wonder how many made it. I wonder if she's real or if she's bait for something worse. Day 491. I'm cleaning the rifles when I realize I'm talking to them. Okay, let's get you sorted out. Barrel looks good. Action smooth. You're a good rifle. Yes, you are. I stop. Stare at the rifle. Start laughing. Can't stop. I laugh until my sides hurt, until tears are running down my face. Then I stop and it's just silence again. Day 500. Milestone. 500 days. I'm alive, against all odds, despite everything. I'm alive. I celebrate by eating 2 cans of food instead of 1. Peaches in syrup. They taste like heaven. I savor every bite. That night, I think about Tim, about Nancy at the grocery store, about everyone who's gone. I raise a can of flat soda and toast them. I made it to 500 days, you bastards. I'm still here. Day 508. The batteries in one of my flashlights are corroding. I clean it out, install new ones. Everything breaks down eventually. You just have to maintain what you can and replace what you can't. That's survival. That's everything now. Day 515. I see my first animal in months. A doe wandering through the property. She's healthy, alert. She stops and looks right at the camera like she knows I'm watching. Then she bounds away into the trees. For some reason, it makes me feel better. Life goes on, even in the apocalypse. Day 522. Supply run. I hit a grocery store on the outskirts of a small town. The place has been picked over, but I find stuff in the back storage area. Canned goods that fell behind shelves. A case of energy drinks that someone missed. I'm loading it when I hear voices. Not zombies, people. They're in the store. I hide behind a pallet and listen. 2 men arguing about whether to head east or west. One wants to try for the coast. The other thinks the mountains are safer. They don't find me. They leave. I wait 30 minutes, then finish loading and get out. Day 530. The air filtration system is making that grinding noise again. Different bearing this time. I replace it. I'm running low on spare parts. I make a note to find a hardware store on my next run. Need to think long term, not just food. Everything. Filters. The batteries. Replacement parts for every system that keeps me alive. Day 544. I dream I'm in the shelter and the walls are closing in, literally moving, pressing inward. I wake up gasping, convinced I'm being crushed. It takes me 10 minutes to calm down. The walls aren't moving. They never were. But my brain doesn't care. It's finding new ways to torture me. Day 551. The shortwave is mostly static now. I scan through frequencies and find one broadcast. A man speaking Spanish. I don't understand Spanish, but I listen anyway. Just to hear a human voice. He sounds sad. Or maybe that's just me projecting. Day 560. I make a decision. I'm going to start rationing more carefully. Stretch my supplies as far as possible. Cut back to half a can of food per day. More rice and beans. I can handle it. I've handled worse. For the goal is to extend the time between supply runs. Every run is a risk. The fewer I make, the better my odds. Day 573. I'm lightheaded constantly now from the reduced calories. I forced myself to exercise anyway. 30 minutes on the bike. Light weights. I'm losing muscle mass. I can see it in my arms, my legs. I look like someone from a famine documentary. But I'm alive. That's what matters. Day 588. Something's wrong with my teeth. One of my molars is loose. I think it's scurvy. I'm not getting enough vitamin C. The multivitamins aren't cutting it. I need fresh food, fruit, vegetables, things that don't come in cans. I make a note to look for a garden on the next run. Someone must have planted something. Tomatoes, peppers, anything. Day 600, another milestone. 600 days. I'm still here, still surviving. I eat a can of fruit to celebrate. Pineapple chunks. They're the best thing I've ever tasted. I make them last, eating one piece every 10 minutes, savoring the sweetness. When the can is empty, I feel genuine loss. Day 612. I find a house with a garden. The vegetables have gone wild, but they're edible. Tomatoes, zucchini, some kind of squash. I pick everything I can carry. On the drive back, I eat a tomato raw, juice running down my chin. It's incredible. The taste of something fresh after months of canned food. I could cry. Day 625. The generator is burning oil. I check the levels, top it off. I'm running low on oil too. Add it to the list. Everything is a finite resource. Even time. Day 638. I hear the woman on the radio again. Same broadcast, same coordinates. Safe zone, come north. Her voice sounds thinner, desperate. I wonder if she's real. I wonder if anyone's listening besides me. I think about responding. I don't. What would I even say? Day 651. I'm down to 38 cans of food. The rice is low. The beans are low. I need to make a run soon. I really don't want to. I'm so tired. Every run takes more out of me. I come back shaking, exhausted, haunted. But the alternative is starving. So I'll go. I always go. Day 664. Supply run. I hit a small grocery store 15 miles north. It's been cleaned out, but I find a supply closet in the back that someone missed. Industrial-size cans of vegetables. They're huge, designed for restaurant use. I can barely lift them. I take 4. That's maybe 2 months of food right there. On the way out, I see a zombie in the parking lot. It used to be a child. I don't shoot it. I just leave. Some things are too sad to deal with. Day 678. My hands shake constantly now. Malnutrition, maybe, or just stress. I can't hold a cup without spilling. I can't write without the pen wobbling. I do exercises to try to steady them. It doesn't help much. Day 690. I find a bottle of whiskey in the back of a liquor store. It's good whiskey, expensive stuff. I don't know why it survived this long without someone taking it. I bring it back to the shelter. That night I drink a glass. It burns going down. I haven't had alcohol in over a year. It goes straight to my head. I drink another glass, then another. I wake up on the floor with a pounding headache. The bottle is empty. I threw up at some point. I clean it up and swear I'll never do that again. Day 704. 2 years. 704 days since the world ended. I'm still here. I make a mark on the wall of the shelter, a tally mark joining hundreds of others. Each one is a day I survived. Each one is a small victory. I look at them and I feel nothing, just numbness. Day 717. The shortwave has been silent for 3 days. No broadcasts at all. Just static. Either everyone's dead or everyone gave up. I keep scanning frequencies anyway. Hope springs eternal, right? Day 730. 2 years exactly. Or close enough. I've survived 2 full years of the zombie apocalypse. I should feel proud. Accomplished. Instead, I just feel empty. What's the point? I'm alone in a concrete box, slowly running out of supplies, slowly losing my mind. Is this really better than being dead? I think about the woman in the sleeping bag, the pill bottle, how easy it would be. Then I think about Tim, about how he sounded on the radio, scared but trying to stay hopeful. About how he probably died badly, torn apart, or turned into one of them. About how he'd call me an idiot for giving up when I've made it this far. So I keep going. Because the alternative is worse. Because I've come too far to quit now. Because somewhere deep down, underneath the exhaustion and the fear and the despair, there's still a tiny spark of defiance. I'm not dead yet. And as long as I'm not dead, I'm going to keep surviving. Day 738. I find a radio broadcast. New voice. Woman. She's broadcasting from somewhere in Ohio. She says she has a farm, chickens, vegetables, clean water. She's looking for people to join her, build a community. She sounds genuine. I listen to her describe the farm, the security measures, the daily routines. It sounds too good to be true. I think about going. Then I remember every other group I've heard about, how they all fell apart, how people are the problem. I don't respond to her broadcast. I just listen. Day 745. My loose tooth falls out. I spit it into my hand and look at it. A molar. It doesn't even hurt. Just wiggled loose and came out. I'm literally falling apart. I need more vitamins, more protein, more calories. But I'm rationing. Stretching everything. The math doesn't work. I can't maintain my health and make supplies last. Something has to give. Day 758. I make a decision. I'm going to do a major supply run. Hit multiple locations. Load the Explorer until it can't hold anymore. Risk everything on one big haul. If it works, I'll have enough to last 6 months. If it doesn't work, well, at least I went down fighting. Day 761. Preparation day. I check every weapon. Clean them. I load fresh magazines. I pack the bug-out bag. I map routes to 6 different locations. Grocery stores, a sporting goods shop, a farm supply place, a warehouse, an abandoned neighborhood where every house might have some food left. It's ambitious. Probably stupid. But I'm committed. Day 762. I leave at first light. The plan is to hit all 6 locations in one day before word spreads that someone's raiding the area. The first stop is a grocery store. It's been picked clean, but I find stuff anyway. I always do. A case of soup in the manager's office. Boxes of pasta in a supply closet. I load it and move on. The second stop is the sporting goods shop. I need ammunition. The place has been looted, but I find boxes of .223 hidden in a false bottom drawer. Someone's personal stash, maybe an employee. I take it all. Third stop, farm supply. I'm looking for animal feed because I've heard you can eat certain types if you're desperate. I find bags of corn, chicken feed. It's not appetizing, but it's calories. I take 3 bags. Fourth stop, warehouse store. It's the same Costco where I got shot at months ago. I approach carefully. The lookout on the roof is gone. The place looks abandoned. I get closer. The front barricades are broken. There are bodies. Lots of bodies. Zombies got in. Overran the whole place. I could turn back. Should turn back. But if zombies cleared it out, that means supplies might still be there. I go in. The smell is unbelievable. Death and decay concentrated in a massive space. I breathe through my respirator and push forward. The main floor is chaos. Bodies everywhere. Survivors and zombies mixed together. Impossible to tell which is which at this point. But the storage area in back is intact. Pallets of food, water, supplies stacked to the ceiling. I work fast. Loading the Explorer with case after case, canned goods, bottled water. rice, beans. I'm sweating through my clothes. My heart is pounding. Every sound makes me jump. But I keep loading. I'm on my 6th trip when I hear it. Movement. Deeper in the warehouse, something shifting. I freeze. Listen. There. Again. Something's in here with me. I draw my pistol, move toward the sound. There's a section of shelving that's collapsed. Behind it, I see movement. A hand. Reaching out. I almost shoot. Then I see the hand is too steady, too controlled. Not a zombie. A person. Hello, I call out. Help. The voice is weak. Female. Please. I move closer. Behind the collapsed shelving, trapped under a fallen pallet, is a woman. She's maybe 40, bleeding from a head wound. Her leg is pinned. How long have you been here? I ask. 2 days, maybe 3. I lost track. I look at her leg. It's bad. Crushed. Even if I free her, she's not walking. I'd have to carry her. Take her back to the shelter, share my supplies, risk everything. Please, she says again, don't leave me here. I stand there. Every logical part of my brain is screaming at me to walk away. She's dead anyway. The leg is too damaged. She'll get infected, go septic, die screaming. Helping her is just wasting resources. But I think about Tim, about Nancy, about the guy in the CVS and the woman in the sleeping bag, about everyone who's gone. Okay, I say. I'll get you out. It takes me 30 minutes to move the pallet. The woman screams when I shift it, her leg bending at wrong angles. I give her the oxycodone from the pharmacy run. 6 pills. She takes them all. I wait for them to kick in, then I move her. Getting her to the Explorer is brutal. She's conscious, but barely. I carry her, drag her, half pulling her across the warehouse floor. Every few yards, she begs me to stop, to leave her. I don't. I get her to the vehicle. I lay her in the back seat. What's your name? I ask. Kelly. Okay, Kelly. I'm Roger. You're going to be fine. I'm lying. We both know it. But she smiles anyway. Thank you. I drive back to the shelter. It takes an hour. Kelly drifts in and out of consciousness. I talk to her the whole way, keeping her awake. Asking about her life before. She was a teacher, 3rd grade. She loved it. She has a daughter somewhere, or had a daughter. She doesn't know if she's alive. I tell her we'll find out. More lies. At the shelter, I carry her inside. It's the first time another person has been in this space. It feels wrong, invasive. But I set her on the cot in the spare room and I start working on her leg. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm doing. But I clean the wound. I set the bone as best I can. I wrap it. I give her antibiotics. I give her water. I tell her to rest. She grabs my hand. Why are you helping me? I don't have a good answer. Because I can. She passes out. I sit there watching her breathe, wondering if I just made the biggest mistake of my life, wondering if she'll turn, wondering if I'll have to shoot her. Day 763. Kelly's still alive. Fever's high. The leg looks bad. I don't think she'll make it. I give her more antibiotics. Change the bandages. She's delirious, talking to people who aren't there. Her daughter, her husband. She thinks I'm her husband at one point. I play along. What else can I do? Day 764. Kelly dies at 03:47 hours. One moment she's breathing, the next she's not. Just stops. I wait to see if she'll reanimate. She doesn't. Whatever the infection is, it needs living hosts. The dead stay dead unless they died from a bite. I wrap her in a sheet. I carry her outside. I bury her in the woods, far from the shelter. I don't mark the grave. I just fill in the hole and walk away. Back in the shelter, I clean everything she touched. I bleach the cot. I'm paranoid about contamination, even though I know it doesn't spread that way. I can't help it. That night, I drink the last of the whiskey I found. I don't care about the hangover. I just need to not think for a while. Day 765. I wake up and everything hurts. My head, my body, my soul, if I have one left. I check the inventory. The haul from the Costco is massive. I have enough food for 8 months, maybe more. I should feel relief. Instead, I just feel numb. I helped Kelly and she died anyway. What was the point? Did it matter that she didn't die alone under a pallet in a warehouse? Does any of this matter? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Day 770. Back to routine. Inventory at 800. Exercise. Monitor the cameras. Listen to the radio. Eat. Sleep. Repeat. Kelly's death is fading into the background. Just another thing that happened. Just another body to add to the count. Day 784. The woman in Ohio is still broadcasting. She's more desperate now. Begging for people to come. She has food, she says. Safety. Community. I think about telling her about Kelly. About how I tried to save someone and it didn't work. About how people die anyway. But I don't respond. I just listen to her voice, night after night, until it becomes white noise. Day 798. I find a working laptop during a supply run. It's in a house, sitting on a desk like someone just stepped away. I bring it back. The battery's dead, but I can charge it with the shelter's power. When it boots up, I find files, photos, a family, mom, dad, 2 kids. They're smiling in every photo. Vacations, birthdays, normal life. There's a journal on the computer. I read it. The entries start normal. Work stuff, family stuff. Then the outbreak. The dad writing about barricading the house, about rationing food, about his wife getting sick, about putting her down when she turned, about making the decision to end it for him and the kids rather than wait for the inevitable. The last entry is dated day 42. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But this is better than the alternative. I close the laptop. I don't look at the photos again. Day 810. 2 years and 8 months. The numbers keep climbing. I keep surviving. The routine keeps me sane. Or maybe it's keeping me crazy and I just don't realize it anymore. Day 825. The shortwave picks up a new broadcast. Military, or someone pretending to be military. They're talking about reclamation zones. Areas they've cleared of infected. They list coordinates. I plot them. They're all over the map. Colorado, Montana, northern Michigan. Too far. Too risky. But it's something. Evidence that there's still organized resistance out there. Day 838. I need to make another run. The Costco haul is lasting, but I'm burning through other supplies. Ammunition, fuel, replacement parts. I make a list. Prioritize. Plan routes. Day 842. Supply run. I hit a hardware store. Find replacement air filters, bearings, electrical components. I take everything useful. On the way out, I see graffiti on the wall. We are the walking dead. Grammatically incorrect, but philosophically accurate. Day 855. My birthday. I'm 53. I celebrate by eating a can of peaches. I think about what I was doing on my last birthday before the outbreak. Probably working. Probably stressed about something meaningless. I'd give anything to be stressed about meaningless things again. Day 869. The generator is making noise again. I tear it apart. The problem is deeper this time. Damage to the actual motor housing. I can patch it, but it's not a permanent fix. Eventually, this generator will die, and I'll need a new one. Add it to the list of things I need to find. Day 880. I see a convoy on the highway. Big trucks, military vehicles. They're heading north. I watch them through binoculars from a safe distance. They're not stopping, just passing through. I wonder where they're going. I wonder if the reclamation zones are real. Day 894. I find a greenhouse during a supply run. Someone built it in their backyard. It's overgrown, but there are tomatoes, peppers, fresh vegetables growing wild. I pick everything. I eat a tomato right there, standing in the greenhouse, juice running down my face. It's the best moment I've had in months. Day 908. 3 months until the 3-year mark. I've survived longer than I thought possible. Longer than I deserve. Probably. But I'm still here. Still counting days. Still maintaining the routine. Day 925. The woman in Ohio stops broadcasting. I scan for her frequency every night for a week. Nothing. Either she gave up or something happened to her. I'll never know which. Her voice is just gone, like so many others. Day 939. I'm down to 23 cans of food. The rice and beans are running low again. The cycle continues. I need to make another run. I'm so tired of runs. So tired of risking my life for soup. Day 952. Supply run. A small town 12 miles south. I find a grocery store. The back room has a freezer that someone was using for storage. It's not cold anymore, but there are cans inside. I take them all. On the way out, I encounter a zombie. It used to be a cop. Still wearing the uniform. The badge says Deputy Harris. I put Deputy Harris down with a headshot. I'm sorry, Deputy Harris. I'm sorry this happened to you. Day 966. The cameras show a pack of wild dogs on the property. 6 of them. They're thin but healthy. Hunting. They chase a deer through the clearing. The deer gets away. The dogs move on. I wonder if they're dangerous. If I should shoot them. I decide to leave them alone. They're just trying to survive. Like me. Day 980. I hear a new broadcast. A kid. Can't be older than 15. He's reading from a book, just reading chapters of some novel, broadcasting it out into the void. I listen. It's a fantasy novel. Dragons and wizards and magic. It's escapism in its purest form. I listen to 3 chapters before he signs off. He says he'll broadcast again tomorrow. I make a note to tune in. Day 994. The kid is still broadcasting. Different book now. Science fiction. I listen every night. His voice is my only human contact. I wonder where he is. I wonder if he's alone. I wonder if he knows someone's listening. Day 1000. 1000 days. I mark it on the wall. 1000 tally marks. Each one is a victory. Each one is a reminder that I'm still alive. I eat 2 cans of food to celebrate. Chicken soup and green beans. They taste like survival. That night, I think about everything that's happened. Everyone I've lost. Everyone I've seen die or dead. The weight of it should crush me. Maybe it has. Maybe I'm crushed and I just don't realize it because I'm still moving, still functioning, still surviving. But I'm here, against all odds. Despite everything, I'm still here. And tomorrow I'll wake up. I'll check the cameras. I'll do inventory. I'll maintain the routine. Because that's what you do. You keep going. You survive. Even when survival feels an awful lot like slowly dying. Day 1014. The kid stops broadcasting. I wait for him every night for a week. He doesn't come back. Another voice gone. Another person vanished into the silence. I'm alone again. Day 1028. I need to make a major supply run. The food is critical. I'm down to 12 cans. The rice is almost gone. I plan a route that hits 4 locations. It's risky but necessary. Day 1030. I leave at dawn. The first 3 locations are busts. Cleaned out or destroyed. I'm starting to panic when I hit the 4th location, a distribution center on the edge of town. It's huge. Fenced. The gate is locked, but I can see inside. Pallets of supplies. Untouched. I cut through the fence with bolt cutters. I drive inside. The warehouse is full. Food, water, supplies stacked everywhere. It's too good to be true. It is too good to be true. I'm loading the Explorer when I hear engines. Multiple vehicles. They're coming toward the distribution center. I hide behind a pallet and watch. 3 trucks, armed people. They're not military. They're raiders. This is their territory. Their supply cache. They see the cut fence. They know someone's inside. They start searching. I'm trapped. If I try to leave, they'll see me. If I stay, they'll find me. I have maybe 5 minutes before they sweep this section of the warehouse. I make a decision. I'm leaving. I get in the Explorer. I start the engine. I drive straight at the fence on the opposite side. The vehicle crashes through the chain link, and I'm out, tires screeching on pavement. Behind me, I hear shouts, then gunfire. Bullets hit the Explorer. The rear window shatters. The mesh holds, but I can feel impacts against the armor plating. I drive like hell, weaving through streets, taking random turns. I lose them after 10 minutes. I don't slow down until I'm 5 miles away. Back at the shelter, I check the damage. 3 bullet holes in the rear panel. The window mesh is bent but intact. The tires are fine. I'm fine. But I didn't get any supplies. The run was a failure. I sit in the garage for an hour, just breathing. That was too close, way too close. Day 1031. I'm down to 8 cans of food. The situation is critical. I need to go out again. But I'm afraid. The raiders are out there. They're organized. They're dangerous. If they find the shelter, I'm dead. But if I don't get supplies, I'm dead anyway. Slower, but just as dead. Day 1033. I make a run to a small town in the opposite direction. I find a convenience store. It's been looted, but there's still stuff in the stockroom. Cans of soup, bags of chips, candy bars. I take it all. It's not much. Maybe 2 weeks of food. But it's something. Day 1047. The routine is breaking down. I'm too tired to exercise. I skip inventory. I don't clean the rifles. I just sit in the chair and stare at the monitors. Hours pass. I don't move. What's the point? What am I surviving for? Day 1054. I hear a broadcast on the shortwave. A group calling themselves the Restoration Initiative. They claim they're rebuilding, creating safe zones, restoring power grids. They give coordinates to their main base. It's in West Virginia, 200 miles from here. I think about going. Actually think about it seriously. Pack up everything, load the Explorer, drive to West Virginia, see if it's real. Then I think about the Costco, about the FEMA camp on the radio, about every other promise of safety that turned into death. I don't go. I stay in my shelter, in my concrete box, alone. Day 1068. 3 years, 1,095 days, accounting for leap year. I'm still here, still alive. I make another tally mark on the wall. The marks stretch across the entire shelter now, a visual representation of time passing, of survival. I should feel something, pride, relief, anything. Instead, I just feel tired. Day 1082. The food is down to 4 cans. I need to make a run. I don't want to. I'm so tired. But I force myself. I plan the route. I load the weapons. I go. The run is successful. I find a farmhouse with a stocked pantry, and the owners must have left in a hurry. There are still plates on the table, food half-eaten and molded. But the pantry is full. I take everything. On the way back, I see a message spray-painted on a billboard. If you're alive, you're needed. Go north. I drive past it. I'm not going north. I'm going back to my shelter, back to my routine, back to surviving. Day 1095. I'm cleaning the rifles when I realize I'm crying, not sobbing, just silent tears running down my face. I don't know why. I don't know what triggered it. I just let it happen. When it stops, I feel empty, hollowed out. Day 1109. The shortwave is almost completely silent now. I scan through frequencies for hours and find nothing. Just static. The world feels dead. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm the last person left, and I just don't know it. Day 1123. I find a bottle of sleeping pills during a supply run. I stare at them for a long time. It would be so easy. Take them all. Go to sleep. Not wake up. No more hunger. No more fear. No more loneliness. I put the bottle in my medical supplies. I tell myself it's just in case, for emergencies. But I know the truth. I'm keeping them as an option. A way out if things get too bad. Day 1137. The generator dies. Not making noise. Just stops. I try to restart it. Nothing. I spend 8 hours diagnosing the problem. The motor is seized. Catastrophic failure. I can't fix it. Without the generator, I have no power beyond what the solar panels provide during the day. No air filtration at night. No heat. No way to pump water from the well during dark hours. I have a backup generator. Smaller. Less powerful. I install it. It works, but it burns through fuel faster. My fuel reserves are limited. I'll need to find more. This is how it ends, isn't it? Not with zombies, not with raiders, but with systems failing, with entropy. Everything breaking down one piece at a time until there's nothing left. Day 1151. Fuel run. I hit 3 gas stations. 2 are empty. The third has underground tanks that might still have fuel. I don't know how to pump from underground tanks. I try anyway. I figure it out through trial and error. I get 20 gallons. It's not enough, but it's something. Day 1165. The backup generator is burning fuel faster than I calculated. At this rate, I have maybe 2 months before I run out. Then it's solar power only, which means limited functionality. No refrigeration, no water pumping at night, no air filtration after dark, and I need to find another generator. A better one. Or more fuel, or both. Day 1178. Supply run focused solely on fuel and generators. I find a hardware store. They have a generator on display. It's smaller than my original, but it'll work. I load it into the Explorer. I also find 5-gallon gas cans. I take them all. I'm leaving when I see them. Zombies. A horde. Hundreds of them. They're moving through town like a slow tide. I don't know where they're going. I don't care. I get in the Explorer and drive the long way home, avoiding them entirely. Day 1192. 1 year since I hit the 1,000-day mark. I'm at day 1192 now. Over 3 years. I never thought I'd survive this long. Never thought anyone would. I'm still here. Somehow. Against all logic. Against all odds. But I'm running out of everything. Food, fuel, hope. Day 1206. The sleeping pills are looking more attractive. I take the bottle out sometimes. Hold it. Count the pills. There are 30, more than enough. I put the bottle back. Not today, maybe tomorrow. But not today. Day 1220. I force myself to make another supply run. I find a grocery store. The place is a mess, but I find cans, vegetables, soup, beans. I load them up. It's maybe 3 weeks of food. Better than nothing. On the way back, I see fresh graffiti on a wall. We're still here. I don't know who we is. I don't know if I should feel comforted or terrified. Day 1234. The solar panels are losing efficiency, covered in grime and bird droppings. I need to clean them, but that means going topside, exposing myself. I keep putting it off. The power output drops another 5%. Day 1248. I clean the solar panels. It takes 30 minutes. I'm exposed the whole time, vulnerable. But nothing happens. No zombies, no raiders. Just me on the roof with a rag and some cleaning solution, wiping down photovoltaic cells while the world decays around me. The power output improves. Small victories. Day 1261. I'm down to 6 cans of food again. The cycle never ends. Find food. Ration it. Run out. Find more. Over and over. Forever. Or until I can't anymore. Day 1275. Major supply run. I hit a distribution center that I've been avoiding because it's risky. The risk pays off. I find pallets of canned goods, vegetables, soup, fruit. I load until the Explorer can't hold anymore. This is months of food. Maybe 6 months if I'm careful. I drive home with a feeling that might be hope, or might just be relief. Hard to tell the difference anymore. Day 1289, and the shortwave crackles to life. A voice I haven't heard in months. The woman who used to broadcast from Ohio. She's alive. She's broadcasting from a different location. She says she found others. They're building something. A community. A real one, she claims. She gives coordinates. I listen. I think about going. Then I remember Kelly. I remember the Costco. I remember everything that's happened. I don't respond. I just listen to her voice, talking about gardens and livestock and people working together. It sounds nice. It sounds like a dream. Dreams get you killed in the apocalypse. Day 1303. I'm sitting in the chair, staring at the monitors, when I realize I can't remember what my brother's voice sounded like. Tim. I try to remember. I can't. It's been over 3 years, and his voice is just gone from my memory. I panic. I try to force myself to remember. The harder I try, the more it slips away. All I have are the words he said on the radio. They're running out of antibiotics. There are too many sick people. But the voice saying them in my memory is wrong. It's not his voice. It's some generic placeholder. I've lost him twice. Once when he died. Once when I forgot what he sounded like. Day 1317. 3.5 years. 1,317 days. I'm still here. Still surviving. Still marking tallies on the wall. The wall is running out of space. I start a new section on the opposite wall. More tallies, more days, more time passing in this concrete box. Day 1330. The food from the distribution center is running low. Faster than I calculated. I think I'm eating more than I realize. Hard to tell. Hunger makes you lose track. Day 1344. Another supply run. I find a house with a basement full of home-preserved foods. Mason jars of vegetables, pickles, Jam. The seals are intact. I take everything. The homeowners are dead in the living room, sitting on the couch, decomposed but not reanimated. They must have died from something other than the infection. I don't bury them. I just take their food and leave. Day 1358. The backup generator stops working. Different problem than the original. This one's fixable. I spend 12 hours repairing it. Get it running again. But it's a reminder that everything is temporary. Everything breaks down, including me. Day 1372. I catch myself talking to the walls again. Full conversations, asking questions and answering them. What should we have for dinner? Soup sounds good. Yeah, on soup it is. I stop when I realize what I'm doing. Then I start again because talking to the walls is better than the silence. Day 1386. The woman from Ohio is still broadcasting. She talks about her community. 30 people now, she says. They have gardens, chickens, a working well. They're surviving together. I wonder if it's real. I wonder if she's lying. I wonder if she even knows the difference anymore. Day 1400. 1400 days. I make the tally mark. I stare at the wall covered in marks. 3.5 years of survival. 3.5 years of this. I don't know how much longer I can keep going. Day 1410. I'm down to 3 cans of food. I need to go out. I don't want to go out. I'm so tired. But I go anyway. Because that's what I do. I survive. The world outside hasn't changed. Still dead. Still broken. Still filled with shambling corpses and desperate survivors and the ruins of everything we built. I find a gas station mini-mart. It's been looted, but there's still stuff in the ceiling tiles. Someone hid supplies up there. I find crackers, candy bars, energy drinks. Not much, but enough for a week. On the way back, I see movement in the trees. Living people or dead ones, I can't tell. I don't stick around to find out. Day 1420. The sleeping pills are in my hand. I'm staring at them. 30 little white circles that could end everything. I think about Tim, about Nancy, about Kelly, about everyone who's gone. I think about the woman in Ohio and her community of 30 people. I think about the 1,420 tally marks on my wall. I put the pills back in the bottle. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. But not today. I'm still here, still surviving, still counting days. And tomorrow I'll wake up and do it all again. Because that's what survival is. It's waking up and doing it all again. Day after day. No matter how hard it gets. No matter how tired you are. You survive because the alternative is giving up. And I'm not ready to give up. Not yet. Thanks for watching, guys. I will be back with another story